Superintendent Stuart Kincaid. Stuart, thanks for joining us today.
You bet.
So tell us a little bit about the Beef Project. Is it breeding, market? Just give us kind of an overview of what the Beef Project is.
The Beef Project is both market and breeding. There'll be some breeding, some fat steers there, some breeding heifers, cow-calf pairs, and there'll even be a bum calf show for the little kids.
Well, that's awesome. So what kind of expectations do you have for this project?
The expectations of the kids is they start out with a calf, try to get to market weight for the steer show. Then the breeding projects, obviously they start with a heifer, go through, try and get her bred, show her as a bred heifer. Possibility if the kid has time and age right, they come back with a cow-calf pair. And then of course we have the bum calf show for the little kids, the peewees and things like that want to show some bum calves.
Which everybody loves the bum calf show, because who doesn't?
That's the highlight of the fair.
It is, it is. So you talked a little bit about the beef or the breeding project. Tell us about the heifer futurity, because that's kind of a unique part of our fair and part of the Beef Project.
It's nothing new to Sheridan County. It's just something that I've taken and kind of moved on with a little farther. And the heifer futurity project starts out as a heifer, a yearling bred heifer. She must be bred. She's ultrasounded up there. Then as part of it, the kids have to do an interview with a panel of judges and turn in a record book that is judged on a rule book type criteria. Of course, there's an award for the yearling phase of it, and then it also carries on to a cow-calf phase, which they bring that yearling heifer back the next year with the calf at side, and she is ultrasounded again and has to be bred to continue on in the project or in the futurity part. And again, there's an interview process again with the record book part of it, and with the rubric that's used, and then them scores are added together, and the best score between the 2 years wins.
So this 2-year project, it really is a commitment for the kids to do this 2-year project. They have to be halter broke and be prepared to come to fair. What's the grand prize for all this?
The grand prize is somebody from the county has donated a heifer calf, which is given to the winner of this project. Last year it was ourselves. Prior years it's the Koltiska families donated.
The Enders
families donated. Just some that I know off of, and the kids get them projects. And actually this year, the winner last year is actually planning on bringing that heifer that she won back to fair to start over again in the futurity again. So that's awesome.
So the cool thing about this project, and I guess for those that haven't figured it out, we're married. But the cool thing about this project is it's really a chance for these kids to get to build their herd to a certain extent.
Absolutely.
And it's not just show cattle. This is really truly commercial registered type cattle. And a lot of our local breeders around here, not just registered, but your commercial herds have in the past been gracious to donate. And I know that we have some people who are interested this year, and I'm hoping that if anybody's watching this and would like to donate, please get a hold of Stuart or myself, or contact Emily at the office. We would love to help you out, and we'd love to have anybody donate, because it really is truly a unique piece of this.
It is great, and it's probably one of the best parts, my personal opinion, one of the best parts of the fair as far as the end goal that the kids get out of it.
Right. So the fat steers, everybody likes to come see the fat steers because they're fun and they're big. And is there a weight limit that they have to reach to get to fair?
Per se, yes. I mean, to sell, they have to have a minimum of 1,100 pounds. If they don't make the 1,100 pounds, we have a separate class for them type of steers that will be called feeder steers. And then we'll start our class breaks from 1,100 pounds and up to actually be considered a market beef for the steer show.
Well, and I think so people will understand as well, that's really so you get the best quality of meat. You need to have those steers in shape, fat, the marbling, and so much. So, which is good, because obviously we want to promote a quality product. In whatever the species is. So, great.
Yes.
Well, if somebody wants to get involved, say somebody wants to volunteer, or there's some kids out there who want to get involved,
Your percentage for Go Kid born 4/1/2022 and after. We have Tilden Gorzalka and Talis Gorzalka. Following that, we will do the percentage Bordeaux kid born 1/1/2022 to 3/31/2022. In that class, we have Catherine Swinier, Broden Buchanan, Wyatt Gorzalka, and Gavin Gorzalka.
Okay, Fiji apple. Scratch. Was it fancy or what? And then IMAX is a scratch, and that's Broden Buchanan. Oh wait, no, they just put, I'm sorry, they put Catherine Swinger's name. It's right up here in front of here. Oh,
Again, good morning and welcome. I have a couple announcements and thank yous. First off, we would like to thank Sheridan Media and all the sponsors for live streaming our event today and all week. If you have somebody at home that would like to watch the show and can't make it, tell them to go to Sheridan Media and they can watch all of the live streams. We'd also like to thank our judge, Austin Wieselmeyer from Amherst, Colorado. He grew up on a seedstock Angus operation showing cattle and pigs nationwide. He attended Butler Community College, where he was on the 2019 Junior Collegiate Team of the Year. Then transferred to K-State, where he was part of the 2020 National Champion Livestock Judging Team. He graduated with a bachelor's in animal science and currently works for Hubbard Feeds as an account manager covering the state of Colorado. Please help me welcoming Austin.
for shared medias in there. I think they're green. It's white. You don't have to dig, I just...
No, I threw it away last night.
Alright, I was gonna fold it up and put it in your pocket.
I was cleaning last night.
Thank you.
I got you.
Oh, that's smart.
Text my mom and teacher. Okay.
So let's see. Percentage. So the junior.
Following this class, we will have our percentage Bordeaux kid born 1/1/2022 to 3/31/2022. We have Catherine Swinier with 2, Broden Buchanan, Wyatt Gorzalka, and Gavin Gorzalka.
I think a nice pair of does to start off the Breeding Doe show today with. Actually going to start with kind of lighter weight, maybe younger doe with the young man out back. I think one that's just a little bit more unique and attractive in terms of her build. I think that one does look up stronger behind her shoulders. Goes just a notch more square out of her hip, and I actually think that one's a little bit more attractive in the build of her hind leg as well. Now, if you're going for just a little extra power and performance and total dimension of center body, then we can definitely switch it up with the young man doe up front. I just think this one's just a little bit plainer in terms of her look up front, maybe just a little bit steeper there through her hooks and pins. Maybe not quite as attractive in the build of that hind leg as well, but a really nice pair of does to start.
Your champion percentage Bordeaux kid goes to Tilden Gorzalka, reserve Talis Gorzalka. Entering the ring will be percentage Bordeaux kid Catherine Swinier, Broden Buchanan, Wyatt Gorzalka, and Gavin Gorzalka. Following this class, we have percentage Bordeaux kid born 9/1 to 12/31/2021, Gavin Gorzalka.
Red is the show color today, obviously.
So it's that Wyatt.
Gavin said he wanted to.
Thank you. Austin's got 23 and 1.
Thank you.
Sorry, Doc.
Hey, what's up? What's up, Liz? Okay. Now, how's the color looking on it? Is it too dark or anything? Okay, cool. Did you try and call me? Yeah. I was just gonna say I didn't even show anything.
So good with that
I gotta do this.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Liz. Thanks, Stuart.
I think a tremendously high quality pair of does to start this class with. Both are kind of similar in terms of type and kind, but there's one that brings just a few more extras in terms of stoutness of feature, coolness of look, athletic look and build. One that almost just kind of looks like a mini show steer out here. That's that young man in the red. His doe is pretty dang unique in terms of that one's build, power, and dimension of body as well. Nothing to take away from the doe up front that's going to come in second. I think this one is still really, really broody in terms of center body. I still think that one offers plenty of natural width to her. Maybe not quite as shapely in terms of her upper hip and the muscle that she carries down lower. Maybe not quite as penciled out through that front third, but one that I think still offers a world of good. Maybe if she had the extra hair and the extra bone to match her class winner, it could definitely shake some things up. Young man's little white doe that's going to come next, I think still follows that similar type and kind, but maybe just doesn't have near the performance or weight per day of age on her. One that I would like to see with just a nickel more dimension of center body, but that does still have some power, does still have some stoutness of feature, given her frame size today. The young lady's brown doe that comes next, I think one that does offer just a little bit more performance, one that does offer a little more dimension and boldness of center body, but that's a doe that we kind of need to fix from a build and a balance standpoint. She gets just a little bit weaker there behind her shoulders, a little steeper there out of her hip as well. Then the young man's painted up doe that's going to round off the class. I think that's one that actually fixes some build things in relation to the red doe that we just talked, but one that just kind of falls out from a natural width and power and skeleton standpoint. Just need to see this one more opened up underneath to really compete in this class.
Your champion percentage Bordeaux Kid goes to Wyatt Gorzolka. Reserve to Gavin Gorzolka. Third, Brooke Buchanan. Fourth, Catherine Swinier. Fifth, Catherine Swinier. Entering the ring will be percentage Bordeaux Kid, Gavin Gorzolka. After that, we will do percentage for Yearling Doe. They are born 9/1/2020 to 8/31/2021. We have Tilden Gorzolka with 2, Wyatt Gorzolka, Talis Gorzolka, and Wyatt Gorzolka.
young man brings us a doe that I think still offers a tremendous amount of quality compared to the ones in the last class that we just saw. I think a doe that balances really nicely. I think this one's attractiveness and length up there through her front third is really, really nice. This one's definitely opened up and wide in terms of chest floor. Maybe I'd like to make her just a little bit more attractive in the build of her hip and hind leg, make her just a notch more square and level there out of her hooks and pins. But I think a really, really high quality single entry today.
Your champion percentage Bordeaux kid goes to Gavin Gorzolka. Entering the ring will be our percentage board yearling doe, Tilden Gorzolka, with 2 Wyatt Gorzolka, Talus Gorzolka, and Wyatt Gorzolka. We will then pick a percentage board champion. So from our doe kid class, we will need Tilden Gorzolka and Talus Gorzolka in waiting as the reserve. Our percentage Bordeaux kid, we will need Wyatt Gorzolka and Gavin Gorzolka waiting. Our percentage Bordeaux kid, Gavin Gorzolka.
Yeah. So there should be 5 does. So which is the Wyatt second? Blue is okay, so 23. Which is what number?
So Wyatt's showing blue and wins.
2, 2, 3, 7, red.
Finn has both.
Tilden has Willow. 37.
Okay, here you go.
Damn it.
Oh, they switched. Okay, so now Wyatt's showing both.
So Wyatt is showing hope. Finn is showing blue.
Yeah.
Hope is 5. Hope is 5.
No, I think first. Maybe
Talus. Tilden. Which one is Tilden? Tilden has. Tilden's got Willow. Yeah, it's got Willow. And he's pretty good. We have Tilden and Wyatt of Seed of
I think a lot of similarities in terms of type and kind, and so there's different things we can do in this class and a lot of different ways that we can run these. I think the one that probably just brings the most good to the table and puts together just a little more complete package for me is the Young Ladies Doe. I think that's one that, even though I would like to see her a lot stouter in terms of foot and bone and feature, I still think that doe balances really, really nicely on the profile. Is still very attractive up to that front third, and I think she's definitely got plenty of width and power to her. Now the one that does kind of counter her in terms of stoutness of foot and bone, one that definitely is massive in terms of boldness of center body, is the Young Man's Doe out here. But this is one that I do want to change from a freshness, condition standpoint, and make her just hook up a little bit stronger there behind her shoulders and offer just a little bit more attractive look. But that one's pretty hard to ignore from a bone and power and body standpoint. Then we come over to the Young Man's Doe right here in front of me, and I think that's one that offers just as much power, just as much width underneath as well. Maybe one that does hook up just a pinch stronger behind shoulders, but maybe comes to us just a little bit frailer at the surface. This doe gets just a little bit kind of more mature and pushed out in terms of her breastplate. Maybe gets off just a little bit in terms of her hip and hind leg. Young Man's Doe coming next, I think one that offers a lot of length aside. Still is very, very dimensional in terms of center body, but just a little bit piecier in terms of how she's put together. She's just a little bit coarser in terms of the point of her shoulder, and how she hooks in from there back and just kind of narrows back into her pin set from behind. The Young Man's Doe that's going to round off the class, I think one that still puts together an attractive look up front, but when we get off either side of that doe, I think she just gets more closed up, just narrower in terms of chest floor and skeletal width, a little bit flatter body, but I think a really, really high quality and very, very deep set of does in this class.
Your champion percentage for yearling doe goes to Tilden Gorzolka, reserve Wyatt Gorzolka, third Tilden Gorzolka, fourth Talis Gorzolka, and fifth Wyatt Gorzolka. Entering the ring will be our percentage board champion doe. From percentage board doe kid, we have Tilden Gorzolka. From percentage board doe kid, we have Wyatt Gorzolka. Percentage board doe kid, Gavin Gorzolka, and percentage board yearling doe, Tilden Gorzolka.
Percentage board. There should be 4 points in there. They can be. Just depends.
Following this class, we will have our full-blood board doe kid born 1/1/2022 to 3/31/2022 of Catherine Swinier with 2 entries.
Is Gavin in the pink or is Wyatt in the pink?
Gavin's in the pink, Wyatt's in red.
Gavin in the pink.
Okay.
Right. That's Tilden, the blue shirt. All right.
I think there's still a tremendous amount of quality as we get the class winners back out here. All kind of offer a few little different pieces, but I think they're all are very similar in terms of general type and kind and the profile silhouette that they paint on the profile. But there's really just one out here that's just kind of sticks out like a sore thumb. This one is just really, really elite in terms of look, build. Everything about this one is really, really fun to study, and I think this piece of livestock just offers a tremendous amount of quality and could be competitive anywhere. Class winner out of the second class champ.
Your champion percentage junior doe goes to Wyatt Gorzolka. We'll need Gavin Gorzolka's reserve from that class.
As we bring that second place back out, we talked in class that those two were just really, really similar. One just didn't have quite the elite extras in terms of foot, bone, and shag to her, but I think that second place just fits right there in terms of quality, in terms of balance and attractiveness. That second place will be reserved today.
Your reserve champion percentage junior doe goes to Gavin Gorzolka. Entering the ring will be our full-blood boar senior doe kid, born 1/1/2021 to 3/31/2021, Catherine Swinier. We will then do a full.
They moved Fuji out. So Fuji out was that one.
And Catherine Swinier will have 2 entries in this class. We will then go to full-blood boar junior doe yearling, born 11/1/2021 to 12/31/2021, and that's Broden Buchanan.
Yes, Joey.
She has these, and I don't know. I just don't think that it doesn't have a specific. Okay. I like the
What's the matter?
I'm just learning those.
I'm going to go ahead and start with the young lady's doe up front, even though one that maybe doesn't have quite as much stoutness of foot and bone, but I think a doe that I do appreciate more in terms of her balance from the profile. I think she hooks up stronger behind her shoulders, goes just a notch more square out of her hip. I do think she is just a little bit fresher, not only in terms of hair coat, but probably condition-wise too today. One that I do just really like that look that she offers from the side. Young man's doe that comes next, I think one that is just a little bit stouter at the ground. One that maybe does offer just as much with the skeleton, but this doe is just a little bit greener today. I would like to see this doe with just a nickel more condition on her, be just a little bit fresher, maybe hook up stronger behind her shoulders there too, but one that's good from a structure and a soundness fundamental standpoint.
Your champion full-blood boar doe kid goes to Catherine Swinier. Reserved to Catherine Swinier. Entering the ring will be full-blood boar doe kid, born 9/1/2021 to 12/31/2021, and Brooke Buchanan. We will then have our full-blood boar yearling doe, born 9/1/2020 to 8/31/2021. We have Gavin Gorzoka and Catherine Swinier with 2 entries.
The young man brings us a really nice single entry. I think this doe is really high quality in terms of the balance and look she offers. A doe that still offers some with the skeleton, boldness of center body. Maybe one that I would like to change in terms of how her breastplate sits into her. Would like to see that kind of tucked up just a little bit more to give her a little bit more of an exotic look up front. But I still think that one's really, really high quality and really complete from a stoutness and structure standpoint as well.
Your champion full-blood boar doe kid goes to Brooke Buchanan. We will now have our full-blood boar yearling doe, born 9/1/2020 to 8/31/2021. Gavin Gorzoka and Catherine Swinier with 2 entries. We will then pick a full-blood boar junior doe, so we will need the winner from our full-blood boar doe kid, which is Catherine Swinier, our full-blood boar doe kid, Broden Buchanan. We also need Catherine Swinier's reserve from the full-blood boar doe kid, born 1/1/2022 to 3/31/2022. So entering the ring will be our full-blood boar yearling doe, born 9/1/2020 to 8/31/2021. We have Gavin Gorzoka and Catherine Swinier with 2 entries.
There's Bryn. And Tyler has got the other one. So which one is Ginger Snap? Which one's Ginger Snap? I got it. Oh, that's the rest.
Market.
It's the rest of this is just the blue. Yeah. Those are a whole lot different than me as far as that.
Well, we don't have quite the exotic look and exotic bone, but that's kind of a given for being full bloods and just a little bit different in terms of breed character. But I think the young man's painted up doe up front is one that still offers the most in terms of genuine skeletal width, roundness and boldness of center body. One that still has a little bit more power and punch right behind her than the other two that follow. The young lady's doe that's going to come in second in the middle, I think one that's just a notch more neater about the shape of her head and the shape of her neck. I think that one has just a notch more stoutness of feature in the ground as well, but maybe just a little bit more shorter coupled, just a little bit more shoved together in terms of the neck to shoulder junction, a little bit shorter there through her hip. I do want to see that one go just a little bit more coordinated off the rear too as well, but I think that doe is definitely second from a dimension and width standpoint, and that's absolutely what keeps her second. Young man's doe that's going to round off the class, I think one that I do like from a balance standpoint, one that does hook up stronger behind her shoulders. She is definitely neater there through the point of her shoulder, but one that just kind of falls out when we get on either side of that doe. Just need to see her more opened up underneath. Just need to see a bigger, rounder rib cage and offer just a little bit more power from directly behind to move up in the class.
Your champion full-blood boar yearling doe goes to Gavin Gorzolka. Reserve to Catherine Swinier, and third to Catherine Swinier. We will now pick a full-blood junior doe champion. From Class 1, we have Catherine Swinier, Class 2, Broden Buchanan, and Class 3, Gavin Gorzolka.
It's it. Okay.
Entering the ring is our full-blood champion junior doe. We have Catherine Swinier, Broden Buchanan, and Gavin Gorzolka. Following this class, we will pick an overall junior doe. So we need Wyatt Gorzolka with his percentage junior doe And Gavin Gorzolka on standby.
Third bucket now.
As we get our class winners back out here, I think there's some differences in terms of type and kind, differences in terms of stoutness of feature and quality of look, but I think there's one that just kind of represents the kind that we've been picking so far today, one that just offers a little more quality in terms of attractiveness of front end, a little bit more stoutness of feature, and one that just puts together a really, really nice, attractive silhouette. Young man's black head is going to be champion. If I remember correctly, she was a single entry. After that, it gets a little bit closer, but I think the one that just offers the most genuine width, skeletal dimension, and boldness of center body, while not really giving up too much in terms of foot and bone, as the young man's doing out of that last class she'll be reserved.
Your champion, full-blood junior doe, goes to Broden Buchanan. Reserve champion, Gavin Gorzolka. We will now pick an overall junior doe of show. So we'll need Broden Buchanan with his full-blood and Wyatt Gorzolka with his percentage junior doe. Gavin Gorzolka, please be on standby with your reserve full-blood junior doe. And with your percentage junior doe.
Well, there's a tremendous amount of quality in these two division winners when we get them back out here. I think both represent a fairly similar type, general type and kind. Just to kind of recap on that young man's doe up front is one that's just really, really fun to watch travel the ring, just in terms of soundness, how that one's put together from a build standpoint, and then you get on either side of her, and that doe is really massive in terms of chest width, boldness of center body, and definitely power out behind. That one's pretty hard to poke a hole in. Young man's black-headed doe, I think, follows a very similar type of silhouette, one that's maybe just not quite as extreme in terms of her chest floor being just a little bit more tucked up into her breastplate, one that's maybe just not quite as square out of her hip and not quite as unique in terms of the build to her hind leg, but I think one that still represents a world of quality, but the other one just stands out a little bit more with a few more unique elite pieces. She'll be a champion.
Your champion junior doe show goes to Wyatt Gorzolka. We'll have Gavin Gorzolka with his percentage boar doe entering the ring. Following this class, we will have our full-blood boar, 3 years and older doe, born before 9/1/2019, Catherine Swinier.
Want to bring that reserve back out, and I think one that we talked just really follows the same mold as that winner. One that maybe just doesn't have the extras in terms of a lot of shag, a lot of fluff of hair, and some freshness, but one that I still think paints an awfully attractive picture on the profile, but maybe one that maybe gets just a little bit outpowered in terms of foot and bone in this class. I think it definitely gets pretty close between these two. I think the one that definitely just really follows suit with the class winner for me today, young man's black-headed doe reserve.
Your reserve champion overall junior doe show goes to Broden Buchanan.
We're going to show these goats about 15 times.
Every goat 15 times.
Hey, you're wearing the wrong kind of earrings.
I don't have goats or shorts.
Why?
Eeny, meeny, miny, moe.
So entering the ring will be our full-blood boar, 3 years and older. This is a doe born before 9/1/2019, and Catherine Swinier. We will then do our full-blood boar best pair of does, any age, owned by exhibitor Catherine Swinier.
Hold up, and then I go.
I have money.
3 years and older. Full blood boar doe.
Full blood 3 plus A.
Yes. I'll just try
The young lady brings us a really nice single entry older doe. I think one that I like from a a soundness and structure standpoint, this doe still offers a lot of athleticism. One that I definitely appreciate from a boldness to center body and dimension standpoint. This doe definitely doesn't lack from that standpoint. Maybe would like to see her just a little bit more opened up underneath in terms of chest floor and skeletal width, but awfully nitpicky on a pretty really nice breeding project for this young lady.
Your champion senior doe goes to Catherine Swinier. Entering the ring will be our best pair of does, any age, owned by exhibitor Catherine Swinier.
Yeah, we have the best pair of does in age.
Sorry, I have percentage.
Yeah, we're gonna pull them.
Following this class, we will do our full-blood boar yearling buck, Catherine Swinier.
Just open your boats into the thing and show you where it's not really cool. So I'm not certain how to park.
It's right here.
Will you hand this to Emily? You guys don't.
Yes. It's up here. What?
Do you have my card?
Yes. Thank you. It was in your chair.
Thank you for finding it. I totally was trying to get it together. She's like, you don't even have it.
We've only got one best pair of doe out here, but I think the young lady definitely shows that she's got a really, really valuable breeding program going on at home. You can definitely see some, maybe some improvements in terms of attractiveness in the younger generation of does, but we definitely start off with some good foundations in terms of feet and leg structure, and now we're starting to capitalize on a little extra stoutness of feature, a little extra attractiveness of look. I think that's still a really nice pair of does that are going to be valuable projects for this young lady in the future.
Your champion full-blood boar best pair of does goes to Catherine Swinier. We will now have our full-blood boar yearling buck, Catherine Swinier.
Oh, yes, yes.
Entering the ring, we have full-blood boar yearling buck, Catherine Swinier. Next will be our full-blood boar 2-year-old buck, born 9/1/2019 to 8/31/2020, Catherine Swinier.
Like the young lady brings us a really nice single entry buck out here. One I really appreciate from a fundamental standpoint in terms of structure and athleticism. I think this buck sets down on a pretty stout foot as well, and one that offers a nice balanced look. Maybe I'd like to see this guy in just a little bit fresher rig with just a little bit more condition on him, but we know we don't want to get him too fat when it comes breeding season. I think that guy is in just fine shape for today, but a really, really nice breeding project that I think is going to add some value to this young lady's operation.
Your champion full-blood boar yearling buck goes to Catherine Swinier. Entering the ring will be our full-blood boar 2-year-old buck, Catherine Swinier.
No. There's just one.
Following this class, we will do our best pair of bucks, any age owned by exhibitor Catherine Swinier.
Another nice single entry, one that I think is good from a structure and flexibility standpoint, and a buck that does offer enough dimension to center body today, but maybe one that we just need to see powered up just a little bit more. Need to see this guy come and go with a little bit more natural skeletal width as well, but I think one that's still good from a fundamental structure and balance standpoint.
Your champion full-blood boar 2-year-old buck goes to Catherine Swinier. We will now have our full-blood boar best pair of bucks, any age owned by exhibitor Catherine Swinier.
I am. I don't realize that she's literally going to take a class. In this particular class, it's different.
We've got a nice pair of bucks from this young lady. I think it really shows that she's continuing to improve on the genetics that she's raising, and getting even better as every generation pops up. We see just a little bit more stoutness of bone, a little bit more power in the younger buck. So she's definitely making the right decisions from a genetic and a breeding standpoint. I think still a really, really nice pair of bucks for this young lady's operation.
Your champion full-blood boar best pair of bucks goes to Catherine Swinier. We will now pick an overall buck of show. So we have our full-blood boar 2-year-old buck with Catherine Swinier and our full-blood boar yearling buck with Catherine Swinier. We will then do our
As we get out for our champion buck, I think if we didn't catch on that we're making some improvements in terms of the next generation. I think the one that just offers a little bit more good in terms of stoutness of feature, a little bit more genuine width to him, a buck that's just a little bit fresher today. Young lady's younger buck's going to be champion.
Chris, now we're doing overall.
We will now pick an overall breeding goat. We need Wyatt Gorzolka's junior doe, Catherine Swinier's senior doe, and Catherine Swinier's buck. And then we will need on standby Broden Buchanan's reserve junior doe and Catherine Swinier's reserve buck.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, we've got some different ages and different types and kinds to represent our overall breeding goat, but I think there's one that just offers the most quality, offers the most unique pieces, one that's just a little bit harder to truly breed on and to truly make it home. The one that's going to win for me today, young man up front.
Your champion overall breeding goat goes to Wyatt Gorzolka. We'll need Broden Buchanan's reserve. Following this class, we will have our Supreme Doe yearling phase. We have Talis Gorzolka, Gavin Gorzolka, Wyatt Gorzolka, Catherine Swinier with 2, Tilden Gorzolka with 2, Wyatt Gorzolka, and Broden Buchanan.
As we get that reserve back out here, I think one that just really follows in terms of type and kind, brings some extra stoutness in terms of feature. Appreciate this one's boldness of center body and extra power from behind. That one still offers a tremendous amount of look and quality from the profile. She'll be your reserve.
Your reserve champion goes to Broden Buchanan.
Yes. Green Doe yearly phase, phase 1. We got a lot of 3, 5, 9 in this one. Shush, leave me alone. I'm counting them over there. I wasn't even looking at that. Want me to help? Just choosing to say that to you. Yeah, really. Liar. there what?
I'm not sure how the Doe show works.
No, we don't.
So it's just
Yes, and I don't know if they're announcing it now.
yes, they are.
They are, even based on, because we have this information here too. We have the interviews and the record books. We have,
So entering the ring is going to be our yearling phase Supreme Doe. We have Catherine Swinier, Talis Gorzolka, Tilden Gorzolka, Catherine Swinier, Wyatt Gorzolka, Gavin Gorzolka, Tilden Gorzolka, Wyatt Gorzolka, and Broden Buchanan.
I think they did it. And then they have to announce it. Yeah, exactly. I'm like stuck.
Following this class, we will start our showmanship competition. We will be starting with FFA Market Goat Showmanship. We have Aslan Gribble. Following that, we will do our Senior Market Goat Showmanship with Broden Buchanan, Claire Justice, and Jacob Brown.
We'll help her, but I'm not sure what we're all. So you're just gonna have to find a place them in order, and then she'll come add all the other stuff. Yeah, he's Mark. Looks like we only have 2 sheets on this screen now.
Entering the ring is our Supreme Doe yearling phase. We have Catherine Swinier, Talis Gorzolka, Tilden Gorzolka, Catherine Swinier, Wyatt Gorzolka, Gavin Gorzolka, Tilden Gorzolka, Wyatt Gorzolka, and Broden Buchanan.
Do you want me to trade you? I prefer that. Oh, yeah. Very covered. Finn. Finn? Finn. Pretty sure. Okay, and then Tilden is next up.
We must have to.
You don't sit down.
Ginger snap. Oh, and Maggie with Kyle.
Logan isn't out there?
No. Oh, Rogan Buchanan will be out there. Sure, he does not. Because he's on here. He's on here. No. No.
Anyone else back? Ginger's I just can't.
Green dough.
Ken is Hope.
I know nothing about that. And then there'll be an interview, who will give you the best one.
They don't sit inside them? Six.
Gabble, Sissy, Gabble.
Yep.
Tilden.
I think a lot of similarities in terms of type and kind between the top three out here. For me, the one that just kind of puts together the most complete package, a dough that's just really, really fresh in terms of condition, in terms of presentation. One that I appreciate from a width and power standpoint is the Young Ladies dough at the back of the line. Even though we could change that one in terms of the set to her hawk and hind leg, I would like to see that one go with just a little bit more reach out of there, but I think that dough is just a really, really nice place to start. Young Man's dough coming next. I think we talked that one. I appreciate that she has a little bit extra stoutness of feature, a little bit extra foot and bone. That dough is definitely pushing a little bit more condition, but maybe just on the pinch too much for me today. That's a dough that I'd like to see hook up stronger behind her shoulders, go just a little bit smoother there with the point of her shoulder as well. Young Man's dough that's going to come third. I think one that is definitely just a pinch fresher in terms of condition. Dough that's really, really pulled apart and opened up underneath, but one that gets just a little bit shorter and steeper in terms of hip and hind leg. That's a dough that's just not quite as attractive in terms of her breastplate and up through her front third as well. young man's doe that's going to come forward. I think that's one that definitely kind of fits with the third in terms of type and kind. One that's definitely got plenty of width and dimension to her. Doe that's maybe just a pinch better in terms of breastplate as well, but maybe a pinch frailer at the surface. At the same token, doe that I'd like to see go just a pinch more square and level out of that hip behind leg as well. Young man's painted up doe that comes next. One that I really like from a width, dimension, and power standpoint. I think this doe still offers plenty of flexibility. Just really want to change some build and balance things in this doe. She is just a little bit piecier in terms of her construction. Right there behind her shoulder, I'd like to definitely make her just a notch more square and level out of that hip as well. Young man's doe coming next. I think one that definitely offers a pinch more stoutness of feature, but a doe that's just a little bit piecier in terms of her type and kind. Even though she is just longer sided, she just doesn't quite hook up as good as I'd like her to right behind her shoulders. Then you get behind that doe, and I would like to see her powered up just a notch as well. Young lady's doe that comes next, one that I do appreciate from a stoutness of feature standpoint. I do think this doe is still attractive about the shape of her head and neck. One that's definitely got some dimension to center body, but a doe that's just a little bit more shoved together and more compact in terms of type and kind. And a doe that we get right behind her just need to see more true width and power as well. And then the young man's doe that's going to round off the class, I think one that definitely blends neater there through her shoulder, offers a pinch more attractive look up front, but a doe that's just kind of falls out today from a true width and power standpoint. Really need to give her some more skill and width, and I think she definitely becomes more competitive in this group. But let's give these exhibitors a big round of applause for this program they're in.
We will announce the results of this here in just a second. We got to tally up some scores.
Oh yeah, you have to have showmanship sports. We're not doing showmanship anymore. Reading, supreme, showmanship.
So can we announce it?
I would do it at the end of the show.
We'll just do it after the show. Showmanship sport.
Are you going to like
Yep.
as soon as it's
Are you Shane? Are you Shane? Joseph.
Yeah, will you go to the White House and get me a consumer market process?
Yeah, tonight.
Okay, I need just a second.
He can go back to my camper and you can lay him on the bed. You might have to lay with him, but did you let him pet your goat? Did you pet a goat? That sounds just about right.
I think so.
I joke.
You can go ahead and put your breeding does away.
Okay.
Yes, we're going to have to go over to have their
And then
you can just go and walk around some more. And then after he's done with okay? Okay, so I wait until he
Doesn't feel bad.
In the tabulation for the Supreme Doe, there is one more score, showmanship score we need. So these will be announced at the end of showmanship. Actually, at the end of the show itself, or at awards, which is in October. Because we don't want to short anybody on a score. So, everybody's putting away the breeding animals. I believe the market goat officials are headed this way, and your showmanship kids need to head this way.
Welcome everyone to the Sheridan Media County Fair live streaming channel. I'm Liz Kincaid, and joining me today is Sheridan County 4-H Beef Superintendent Stuart Kincaid. Stuart, thanks for joining us today.
You bet.
So tell us a little bit about the beef project. Is it breeding, market? Just give us kind of an overview of what the beef project is.
The beef project is both market and breeding. There'll be some breeding, some fat steers there, some breeding heifers, cow-calf pairs, and there'll even be a bum calf show for the little kids.
Well, that's awesome. So what kind of expectations do you have for this project?
The expectations of the kids is they start out with a calf, try to get to market weight for the steer show. Then the breeding projects, obviously they start with the heifer, go through, try and get her bred, show her as a bred heifer. Possibility if the kid has time and age right, they come back with a cow-calf pair. And then of course we have the bum calf show for the little kids, the peewees and things like that want to show some bum calves.
Which everybody loves the bum calf show, because who doesn't?
That's the highlight of the fair.
It is. So you talked a little bit about the beef or the breeding project. Tell us about the heifer futurity, because that's kind of a unique part of our fair and part of the beef project.
It's nothing new to Sheridan County. It's just something that I've taken and kind of moved on with a little farther. And the heifer futurity project starts out as a heifer, a yearling bred heifer. She must be bred. She's ultrasounded up there. Then as part of it, the kids have to do an interview with a panel of judges and turn in a record book that is judged on a rule book type criteria. Of course, there's an award for the yearling phase of it, and then it also carries on to a cow-calf phase, which they bring that yearling heifer back the next year with the calf at side. And she is ultrasounded again and has to be bred to continue on in the project or in the futurity part. And again, there's an interview process again with the record book part of it and with the rubric that's used, and then them scores are added together and the best score between the 2 years wins.
So this 2-year project, it really is a commitment for the kids to do this 2-year project. They have to be halter broke and be prepared to come to fair. What's the grand prize for all this?
The grand prize is somebody from the county has donated a heifer calf, which is given to the winner of this project. Last year it was ourselves. Prior years it's the Koltiska families donated.
The Enders
families donated. Just some that I know off of, and the kids get them projects. And actually this year, the winner last year is actually planning on bringing that heifer that she won back to fair to start over again in the futurity again. So that's awesome.
So the cool thing about this project, and
No, not unless it's surprised. Well, then they have a big thing. Yes.
Following this class, we will do our intermediate market goat showmanship with Juniper Koltiska and Tilden Gorzolka.
No. There's. Since it's only one, there's a couple. It's just. There's so many. You guys want the water?
I'm okay, thank you.
I think we're good.
I'm okay, thank you.
Children's and junior. Yeah. Yeah, they're not, they're like my boys. They're close together. That's a
and then put them in the fridge and say, oh my gosh, my eggs are gonna hatch.
Yeah. That did a lot of stuff. Not that we're talking about that.
Well, I think a nice group of senior showmen, we'll kind of start from bottom to top and talk them that way. To kind of round off the bottom end of the class today is going to be the young lady up front. I do think when you get that goat stopped and set up, he definitely stands there and we're set there. We don't have to fight that goat quite as much as some others, so I definitely appreciate that. A couple things we can definitely change in terms of stance and how we hold that goat. We're kind of on the wrong side of things. If you're going to use your stance like that, that's when I walk on the other side of the goat. But since I'm on this side, I want you to use kind of your left leg and push into that goat. Be more on the other side of that goat instead of kind of way out front, especially as well. But there were a couple times where I had to fight just a little bit too much. So just a few things, kind of changing stance and making sure that we're good in terms of knowing the feed program a little bit. I think we'll be set there. Coming in third is going to be the young man in the white. One that I think we started off with a really good first impression. We parked there on the side-by-side. We got that goat set. We were in a good position. But now we're kind of having to fight that goat just a little bit more out here. There's a couple things I would like you to change in terms of your stance and how you position yourself in relation to that goat. I do want to kind of see you just a little bit more in front. When you kind of stand behind the goat, it kind of breaks up the silhouette. Not that it makes it hard for me to evaluate that goat. It just doesn't make it quite as seamless, and it's just not quite as smooth and professional in the picture. But now that you've changed that stance, we're definitely a lot better off there. So keep on the homework at home, get that thing trained to kind of set up and get parked right away, and we don't have to mess with it. Between the other two, I think it gets just a little bit closer. The other two are definitely more my style in terms of how they position themselves, their poise, their posture, how they get those goats braced and parked and set up. There's one that's just a little bit more fine-tuned, one that you can tell has done just a little bit more homework at home, and one that's just a little bit more automatic in terms of how they work with that goat. The young man up front will be your champion senior showman. nothing to take away from the young lady. I think we're just right there. I think intensity is great. I think how you get that goat braced and how you position yourself is awesome. We get those ears up and we provide a pretty good look when that goat finally gets set up. But we do struggle just a little bit more to finally get there. And so we just need to get that thing fine-tuned a little bit more and get that thing just a little bit more automatic. Then I definitely think you make a case to win it. But awesome group of senior showmen. Let's give them a big round of applause.
Your champion senior market goat showman goes to Broden Buchanan, reserve to Claire Justice, third Jacob Brown, and fourth Aslan Gribble. Entering the ring will be intermediate market goat showmanship with Juniper Koltiska. Please remember that there are no bikes to be rode around the show ring around livestock. Keep those away on the track or down by the other barns, please.
You're the best. Pretty.
Following intermediate market goat showmanship, we'll do junior market goat showmanship with Catherine Swinier, Madison Dupas, Joey Russell, Wyatt Gorzolka, Benjamin Brown, Talis Gorzolka, Gavin Gorzolka, Finley Koltiska, Tilden Gorzolka, Henry Steinhurst, and Jack Steinhurst.
He's not gonna get right. There's nothing wrong with it. I love that. The smoky color? Yeah, it's just foamy. It looks like a marble. Yeah, she gets it looks better today than she did yesterday. Her eyes were just like. Yeah, she looks like a stick. She looks like a big.
I think this young lady could definitely stand some more competition out here. Really appreciate some things she does in terms of getting that goat set up right away, getting him braced. She's very, very intense. Maybe one thing I'd like to see a little bit when I walk in front of that goat, I do kind of want to see you step off to the side and kind of give me that full chest width view of that goat. But a little nitpicky thing, if we get some more goats out here, he probably acts just a little bit better for you too. But I think showmanship ability in that young lady is awesome. Give her a big round of applause.
Your champion intermediate market goat showman goes to Juniper Koltiska.
There are 11.
Entering the ring will be our junior market goat showmanship with Catherine Swinier, Madison Dupas, Joey Russell, Wyatt Gorzolka, Benjamin Brown, Talis Gorzolka, Gavin Gorzolka, Finley Koltiska, Tilden Gorzolka, Jack Steinhorst, and Henry Steinhorst.
What? You want to just reach out and you can't even push her and make her jump? This is the it has better versus like waffle the raspberry, put it in the powder. It tastes like raspberry slush. Iced oh, so I have to make all the raspberry, right? I got 2 sweet teas. You know what I got? 2 empty teas.
Following this class, we will start our Market Goat show. So we'll start with our Market Goat Boar Show Class 1 with Erica Batson, Jack Steinhorst, Autumn Postine, Henry Steinhorst, and Finley Koltiska.
I need one of
So it should all be laid out now, and all the awards, they will.
they're back there. Good job.
Okay, so let's add them to my application. So what's so that it'll be the
I love it. We'll let us know.
Again, we would like to thank Sheridan Media for live streaming all of our events. If somebody's at home and would like to watch any of our shows this week, they can go to Sheridan Media. The sponsors for that, we would like to thank as well. Life Safety Solutions of Sheridan, Range, Wolf Creek Cattle Company, Kistling Law, Sunline Federal Credit Union, Little Goose Ranch, Tom Balding Bits and Spurs, 307 Real Estate Buffalo, Wyoming Corporate Office, First Federal Bank and Trust, Farm Bureau Insurance, Dave Kraft, Hart J Livestock, True Built Builders, and Century 21. We also have a long list of Sheridan County Fair award donors that we would like to thank. Stuart and Liz Kincaid, Bramble Motel, Sheridan County Junior Leaders, Jim Kerr, Critters Crafts and Cooking 4-H Club, Sheridan Seed Company, Blacktooth Large Animal Services, Dave and Teresa Harrington, Waddy and Lilla Taylor, the Tucker Foundation, Billy and Kelly Thomas, Reflections Farm, Keaton Saddlery, True Built Builders, Penny Pudge, Fletcher Construction, Wyotano Grizzlies 4-H Club, Susan and Mike Terry, Hayden and Jan Heffy, Sheridan County Homemakers, Range, Viva La Broom, Creative Fiber Guild, Water Products and Solutions, Kilpatrick Creations, Chris and Tiffany Labby, Dennis and Nancy Nelson, Big Goose Veterinary Clinic, Lori Ross, Arlen and Marcy Tim, Bonnie and John West, Judy Musgrave, Jack Pilliser, Beckton Stock Farm, Richard Vine, L&S Contractors, Wolf Mountain Coal, Sheridan Orthopedic Association, and TNT Quarter Horses. If you see any of these people around, please thank them.
Well, I might go ahead and dismiss these kids over here. It might take me a little bit longer to work through these. Went through and talked with them about some pointers we can change, some things we can do differently in terms of how we get those goats braced and how we hold and present that goat. But I encourage all you kids, once you get the goats back to the pen, come back out and watch these kids. There's some pretty good exhibitors out here, and the best way that I learned was just watching others and trying to imitate that at home. So good job, guys. We can go ahead and head out, and we'll keep working through the rest.
Finley, wait a second. Finley.
Let's go ahead and give these juniors a big round of applause. This is an incredibly competitive group. I think the whole way through, the kids are just really, really talented, and it's kind of a shame to see some leave the ring a little early that were still really, really good. But I think there's three young people out here that do just kind of that next level. Ones that are just that much more intense, that much more fine-tuned, that much more automatic with their goats. And you can tell they've definitely done their homework. They've practiced a lot. They've got just a little bit more experience showing maybe, and they've all got that I want to win it attitude out here, which definitely shows through in their showing style. But just to kind of go from third to the top, and then we'll come back to the rest. The one that kind of just has a few more, not necessarily problems, but things that we can fix just in terms of staying straighter in line. Maybe making sure that goat's feet are always set perfect every time, making sure we're looking down there just a little bit more often. Young lady in the red, you're going to go ahead and round off the top three at third. I think an awesome job in terms of intensity. I think how you position yourself, that goat's really good. We just kind of need to fix how we're standing in line. There's a couple times we get just a little bit kind of out of whack there, and our goat's kind of moving legs on us, and I want you to kind of poke down there and look every time you feel that goat move and make sure that guy is still set up as good as we can possibly get him. But I think an awesome job to you as well. I think between the other two, it gets really, really close. These two young boys are really, really just elite in terms of showmanship ability. They've got those goats automatic. There's maybe one that's just a little bit more fine-tuned in terms of how that goat cooperates out here. One that I really haven't seen mess up at all. One that's just been very, very flawless. And another one that's kind of had that goat move around just a little bit more. Maybe we've kind of gotten just a little bit too far off a few times, and maybe that goat kind of backed up on us and wiggled around a little bit more when I was handling. The young man up front is going to go ahead and be second today. Incredible job to you. Like I said, there's one that was just a little bit more flawless, a little bit more hard to poke a hole in. This young man's never really missed a beat. He's going to go ahead and be your champion here.
Your champion junior market goat showman goes to Wyatt Gorzalka. Reserve, Gavin Gorzalka. Third, Catherine Swinger. Fourth, Talis Gorzalka. Fifth, Madison Dubas. And sixth, Tilden Gorzalka.
Oh, hey, I need to write that down. Hold on.
That's mine.
Oh, I can get it from him.
I don't like it.
Champion Junior?
Yeah,
When they're seniors.
Entering the ring will be Market Boar Show Class 1. We have Erica Batson, Jack Steinhorst, Autumn Costin, Henry Steinhorst, and Finley Koltiska. Goats in this class range from 58 to 61 pounds.
Hold on.
I know the guy that picks the judges.
Really?
We all know the guy that picks the judges.
I will listen to it. I gotta find it.
Following this class, we will need Market Goat Boar Show Class 2, Broden Buchanan, Henry Steinhorst, Aslan Gribble, and Claire Justice with 2.
Yeah, you can share it. See what was on the table. This is going to be comfortable. Right now. This is not That's a Steinhorst. Finley. This is
Go ahead and start off with the young ladies runner. I think one that definitely kind of leads the class from a handling standpoint, even though we could definitely see just a little bit more power and total product in all of these. I still think that one is the best in terms of the shape over his rack, but definitely the widest and the most shapely over his loin. That goat's got just a little bit more genuine with the skeleton than some others in here, but definitely want to see these goats come with just a little bit more total product kind of all across the board. Young man coming in second, I think a goat that does offer some more stoutness of feature, some more foot and bone at the ground. Goat that's maybe a little bit bolder in terms of center rib cage, but one that's just a little bit plainer, not near as powerful and shapely in terms of rack and loin edge. Definitely want to see that change to kind of switch those two. After that, we come with the young ladies goat third. I think one that balances nicely on the profile. I think a goat that hooks up strong behind his shoulders and goes pretty square out of his hip. I do think there is just a little bit more muscle shape and pop right there in kind of that loin to hip junction. I do think that goat does offer just a little bit more power and muscle, especially to the touch, than the other two that follow. But a goat that does kind of just run out of steam in terms of stoutness of foot and bone. Maybe narrows up just a pinch at the ground. We get into two goats that are very, very similar in terms of type and kind. I think both paint just a very similar silhouette on the profile, but goats that are just kind of outpowered out here. Goats that are just a little bit more plain and more disappointing to the touch. You want to see these things come just a little bit fresher, a little bit shapely, a little more expressive to move up in this class. But let's give these exhibitors a big round of applause for this first Lightweight class. Results from Show Class 1. First, Finley Koltiska,
Second, Henry Steinhorst. Third, Autumn Postine. Fourth, Erica Batson. And fifth, Jack Steinhorst. Entering the ring will be Show Class 2. Broden Buchanan, Henry Steinhorst, Aslan Gribble, Claire Justice, and Claire Justice.
That Band-Aids, Neosporin.
It was months ago.
Well, I'm just saying. Yeah, you don't want.
No.
It's not pleasant. Why?
In the ring is Market Goat 4, Show Class number 2, Broden Buchanan, Henry Steinhorst, Aslan Gribble, Claire Justice, and Claire Justice. Goats in this class range from 63 to 67 pounds. On deck, we'll need Market Goat 4, Show Class 3, Logan Mediate, Finley Koltiska, Jack Steinhorst, William Mediate, Juniper Koltiska, Logan Mediate, Aslan Gribble, and Madison Dupas.
They do. They said they needed a woman.
Just a little bit more total power, ones that are just a little bit more pleasant to the touch. But the young man's Blackweather up front, I think one that definitely offers just an extra edge in terms of attractiveness of balance, a little bit more athletic in terms of the silhouette that he paints on the profile. That goat is just a little bit stouter and more impressive in terms of foot and bone at the ground. And definitely the one that's the most shapely, the widest to the touch in terms of rack and loin. Definitely like that guy from there. The young lady's weather is going to follow up in second. I think one that, compared to 2 and 3, this one is just a little bit more expressive, just a little bit harder to the touch over his rack and loin. I think that goat's just a little bit more powerful when you step right behind him. And I do think that goat offers just a little bit more attractive look up front. But one that maybe just doesn't offer the same level of stoutness or feature at the ground, and a goat that just doesn't have the attractive set to hip and hind legs of Class winner. Young man's goat coming in third, I think one that fits very similar in terms of type and kind to the young lady's goat breed, but one that even kind of falls out a little bit more in terms of stoutness of feature. Goat that's just a little bit coarser at the point of his shoulder, one that doesn't hook in quite as strong right there behind it, and maybe not quite as attractive up through that front third, but one that I definitely appreciate from a handling quality standpoint in relation to the two that are left out here. Then the young man's painted doe that's going to come next. I think one that does balance fairly well on the profile. Goat that hooks up strong behind her shoulders. One that's still fairly bold and dimensional in terms of center body. But that's a goat that gets just a little bit steeper and rounder out of her hip. It's a goat that just really falls out in terms of total muscle and product when you get right behind. But I do think that's a goat that still offers a little bit more substance of loin edge and rack than the goat that's going to round off the class. And the young lady's goat that's going to round it off, I think one that might have just a pinch more stoutness of feature and foot and bone, but that's a goat that we kind of need to fix from a balance and a build standpoint, and one that's just the most kind of disappointing to the touch. I do want to see this guy with just a little bit more flesh and a little bit more power on him to move up farther in the class.
Results from Market Goat Show Class 2. First, Broden Buchanan. Second, Claire Justice. Third, Claire Justice. Fourth, Henry Steinhorst. And fifth, Aslan Gribble. Entering the ring will be Market Goat Show Class 3. Logan Mediate, Finley Koltiska, Jack Steinhorst, William Mediate, Juniper Koltiska, Logan Mediate, Aslan Gribble, and Madison Dupas. Goats in this class range from 72 to 76 pounds. Show Class 4, please make your way to the holding area. Kyle Mediate, Catherine Swinier, and Wyatt Gorzolka.
That's Kyle. Oh, in the black. This is Kyle. And that one is Logan. Yes.
Well, definitely a lot of differences in terms of type and kind, and there's not really just a combination goat in here that really brings together some attractive balance pieces with the proper muscle shape and enough product. But I think the one that's actually just the best from a carcass standpoint, the goat that actually handles with pretty easily the most width and the most shape over his rack and his loin is the young man's kind of wider colored goat towards the back of the line. Now this is definitely one I want to change from a stoutness of feature standpoint, make this one just a little bit more square and attractive in terms of the build to his hip and hind leg, but that goat is definitely opened up underneath. He's got some natural skeletal width, boldness to center body, and is definitely one of the most powerful in terms of touch and handle. Young man's spotted up black and white goat that comes next. I think one that offers just a little extra stoutness of feature. This goat's just a little bit longer, more square in terms of the build to his hip. That goat still handles fairly fresh to his top line. That goat's just a little bit more closed up underneath. Just want to see more true natural skeletal width to that goat as well. Kind of the same story for the young lady's goat up front. I think this one has some interesting pieces. This one's pretty stout at the ground. Lots of dimension to foot and bone. This goat's very long and attractive up through that front third, but maybe just a little bit piecier in terms of general build. This goat just doesn't balance and blend his pieces together quite as well as some others. And then you get on either side of that goat and put your hands on it, just a little bit more disappointed in terms of how much power he has up top. Just want to see a little bit more punch out of that goat as well. Young lady's kind of belted goat coming next. I think one that kind of matches in terms of type and kind with that third place. I think one that offers some nice balance pieces, but I think a goat that just kind of falls out in terms of stoutness in general. One that I would like to see a larger foot and bone. One that I would like to see just more natural product running over that guy's rack and loin. But I think a goat that does some nice things from a skeleton and a structure standpoint. Young man's whether that's going to come next. I think one that's definitely a little bit more wider constructed. I think this goat's got a lot of shape and boldness to center body, and one that might have just a little extra width in terms of pin set that you put your hands on him, and I'm just a little bit more disappointed. There's not as much shape as I was thinking there was in terms of rack and loin on that goat. One that's just a little bit softer and plainer to the touch. I want to see that one just a little bit leaner, a little bit more expressive as well. Young lady's taped up goat coming next. I think one that's got some nice balance pieces from the side, one that's got plenty of athleticism, length of stride, but a goat that we really do need to offer just a little bit more natural skeletal width, just a little bit more power throughout. The same story for the two goats that kind of round off the class. I think goats that just kind of fall out in terms of stoutness of feature, maybe we need to change the build and balance things in both of them, but we do just need to power these goats up, make them just a little bit fresher to the touch, a little bit more powerful, offer some more with the skeleton behind, then I definitely think they move up a few spots. But good job for these exhibitors, and we'll get another class.
Results from show class 3. First, William Mediate. Second, Jack Steinhorst. Third, Finley Koltiska. Fourth, Madison Dupas. Fifth, Logan Mediate. And sixth, Juniper Koltiska. Entering the ring will be Market Goat Show Class 4. Kyle Mediate, Catherine Swinier, and Wyatt Garzolka. Goats in this class range from 78 to 82 pounds.
gonna give Ben a technicality.
Following this class, we will do Market Goat Show Class 5. We need Gavin Gorzolka and Jacob Brown.
Well, the young man brings us a pretty high quality doe to start the class off with. I think that's one that's just pretty elite in terms of balance and design from the side. That goat really runs uphill and is really tall at the point of her blade. That one is incredibly powerful. By far the most powerful goat that we've seen today so far. That one is really, really impressive in terms of freshness, in terms of rack and loin shape, and that one still manages to get out and almost float out here. I think one that's really, really good from a structure standpoint as well. Young lady's painted up doe that's going to be weathered, that's going to be second, one that I think still offers some nice balance pieces. I think one that still offers some added stoutness of foot and bone in relation to the goat in third. But this is one that just maybe falls out in terms of total attractiveness. I think this one just doesn't piece together quite as well. And then you put your hands on him, and even though that goat's still got some product and some shape, it's just not quite to the same degree of expressiveness and power as our class winner, but one that I think is still pretty solid from a product standpoint as well. Then the young man's weather that's going to round off the class. I think one that's still fine from a balance standpoint. I think still bold in terms of center body. And I expect just a little bit more shape to loin edge and to rack, but it's just a little bit plainer to the edge, and it almost just rolls kind of seamlessly into body shape. And I just want to see a little bit more expressiveness and a little bit more shape to that rack and loin edge for this goat to move up. But I think a really nice trio of goats in this class.
Results from class number 4. First, Wyatt Gorzolka. Second, Catherine Swinyer. And third, Kyle Median. Entering the ring will be show class 5. We have Gavin Gorzolka and Jacob Brown. Goats in this class range from 87 to 88 pounds. Following this, we will do show class 6. We have Benjamin Brown, Gavin Gorzolka, Claire Justice, and Madison Dupas. Please remember, consignment forms are in the sale building sale shed here to the north of the show ring. Please go over and get those filled out. There's probably a box or somebody in there to take those. And we will do goat pictures following the conclusion of the Market Goat Show. We will also do a Pee Wee showmanship following the Market Goat Show, following Brad and Faye. So if you are under the age of 8 or not in 4-H and would like to show goats, please go find a goat.
A nice pair of goats out here, but it's the young man's doe up front that wins pretty handily for me. This one just appears to be, or just offers more of an athletic look from the profile. I think this one's really, really good in terms of chest width, total skeletal width. Then you put your hands on this doe, and she's impressive in terms of shape and width of rack and loin. I think that one's really, really nice from a muscle standpoint, and still couples it with a very, very sound and flexible build. Not to take away from the young man's red doe, or red weather coming next. I think that goat still offers plenty of width of loin, still has some shape and dimension of muscle when we get on top of him, but that's a goat that just doesn't piece things together in quite as unique and elite of a package, one that just kind of falls out in terms of balance and in terms of stoutness of feature at the ground, but one I still appreciate from a carcass and a muscle standpoint.
Results from class number 5. First, Gavin Gorzolka. Second, Jacob Brown. Entering the ring will be show class 6. Benjamin Brown, Gavin Gorzolka, Claire Justice, and Madison Dupas. Goats in this class range from 98 to 109 pounds. Following this class, we will pick an overall market boar goat. So we need Finley Koltiska from class 1, Broden Buchanan from class 2, William Media from class 3, Wyatt Gorzolka from class 4, and Gavin Gorzolka from class 5. Reserves, please be in the holding area as well. From class 1, Henry Steinhorst. Class 2, Claire Justice. Class 3, Jack Steinhorst. Class 4, Ren Swinier. And Class 5, Jacob Brown.
really nice pair of weathers to start the class off with. Both are pretty different in terms of type and kind and have their trade-offs. But the one that's just a little bit better from a muscle and a carcass standpoint, one that's definitely fresher in terms of appearance and touch, is the young man's weather up front. I think this one definitely profiles with just a little bit more attractive look. You put your hands on this one, and there's just a little bit harder shape over rack and loin, one that's just a little bit fresher to the touch as well. Maybe not quite as opened up in terms of chest floor as our second place goat. Maybe not quite as stout in terms of feature at the ground, but I think that one is definitely the best from a handling and a carcass standpoint. Now the young lady's black-headed wether, I think one that's definitely a little bit more burly in terms of foot and bone work, just a little bit more opened up in terms of chest width, boldness of center body, but that goat isn't quite as attractive in terms of balance on the profile, and I think that goat is just a little bit softer to the touch and not quite as hard and shapely up high as our class winner, but definitely a good goat that's still plenty good from a power standpoint to be second. Young lady's weather coming next, I think one that might actually balance just a notch better than the weather in second. This goat does hook up stronger behind his shoulders, goes just a little bit more square out his hip. This is one that has some stoutness and feature, but a goat that's just a little bit narrower constructed underneath. Just need to see this guy more opened up, just a little bit more powerful up high. Same story goes for the young man's painted up weather. I think one that definitely balances with a nice look. I think that goat still has some dimension and boldness to center body, but that's a goat that's just pretty plain and nondescript in terms of muscle shape up high. Definitely want to see that goat just a little bit fresher, a little bit more powerful to go.
Results from show class 6. First, Gavin Gorzoka. Second, Claire Justice. Third, Madison Dupas. And fourth, Benjamin Brown. Entering the ring will be the champion Boar Market Goat. So from class 1, we have Finley Koltiska. Class 2, Broden Buchanan. Class 3, William Mediate. Class 4, Wyatt Gorzoka. Class 5, Gavin Gorzoka. And Class 6, Gavin Gorzoka. I would also like to encourage everybody to visit all of the vendors that are around. We have quite a few of them this year, and that's great to see. So if you're hungry or need something to drink, please visit these guys who have taken time to come up here and support our fair. Following the selection of our champion market boar, we will start our market boar crossbreds. So class 1 will be Autumn Costin.
Young ladies lightweight class winner up front. I think a goat that just had comparatively the most muscle in that class. One that still doesn't do a whole lot of things wrong from a structure and a build standpoint. Maybe just doesn't have the extras out here like some do in terms of extra stoutness of foot and bone. Young man's black weather coming next. I think one that definitely offers just a little extra quality in terms of look. I think this one's pretty athletic in terms of build and the silhouette that he paints on the profile. A little extra stoutness of feature. I think this one's good and fresh to the touch. Maybe just a little bit shorter in terms of the build to his hip. Just a little bit steeper from hooks to pins there as well. Young man's third class winner. I think one that definitely had the carcass advantage. One that doesn't just wow you in terms of look and feature, but that's a goat that still offers some shape up high, offers some turn and dimension to lower leg as well. Then we get into three class winners that I think offer just a little extra edge, ones that are just a little bit more elite in terms of look and quality. That fourth class winner, one that is just pretty unique in terms of build and look and the profile view. I think that's a goat that's still incredibly sound and fluid like in motion, and one that's just really, really attractive up through that front third. You put your hands on this doe, and she is really, really hard to the touch and very, very impressive and shapely. When we compare her to the class winner directly behind, maybe she gets outpowered just a little bit, but that's kind of a null detail for me. Both goats are incredibly powerful and definitely not lacking from that standpoint. That fifth class winner, I think a goat that might offer just a touch more stoutness of feature. I think this goat is definitely the most powerful, the most shapely, the most expressive. The groove that this doe runs right over a rack is really, really impressive and just incredibly wide and massive there over her loin. Maybe that one doesn't hook up right behind her shoulders as good and strong as another one out here, but one that's still definitely very, very impressive in terms of balance and build and definitely flexible in motion. Then we get into that heavier weight class winner. I think a wether that's still very, very nice to the touch, one that's still very fresh, hard and expressive. Definitely a little bit more frame and growth on this guy. Not quite as much overall width, not quite as just out there in terms of feature and bone. Maybe one that does balance and blend his pieces together very, very smooth, but just doesn't do it to the extra degree of quality and eliteness like two others out here. You're probably got it figured out. It's down between the fourth and the fifth class winners for me. I think there's one that's just a little bit more unique in terms of balance and build, one that's just a little bit harder to put together in terms of the silhouette that doe paints, one that's just definitely plenty there in terms of muscle and product. That fourth class winner will be a champion division. We talked, it was really, really close. I think that doe coming out of the fifth class, one that definitely the most impressive from a muscle standpoint, the most expressive and shapely up high. One that I think just really, really follows in terms of type and kind, and it's pretty hard to split that pair up. She'll be reserved.
Your champion Borgo goes to Wyatt Gorzalka, reserved to Gavin Gorzalka. Entering the ring will be Market Crossbred Boars, Autumn Postine with the goat weighing 61 pounds. Following this class, we'll have Crossbreds Class 2, Benjamin Brown, Tilden Gorzalka, Joey Russell.
Very cool.
The young lady brings us a nice single entry out here. I think a goat that does balance fairly well, a goat that reads pretty youthful and good in terms of chest floor, one that offers a lot of flexibility when he decides to cooperate and get out there. And I think a goat that's still adequate in terms of muscle and handling shape, maybe one that just doesn't have the extras in terms of being really blown apart, super powered up, or a lot of stoutness of bone at the ground, but I think one that's just very, very complete and still good to the touch.
Results from Class 1 crossbreds. First, Autumn Postine. Entering the ring will be crossbred Class 2, Benjamin Brown, Tilden Gorzolka, and Joey Russell. Goats in this class range from 77 to 79 pounds. Following this class, we will need show crossbreds Class 3, Jacob Brown, Talis Gorzolka, and Tilden Gorzolka.
And go ahead and start off with the young man's brown weather directly in front of me. I think that's one that just offers the most quality in terms of look and balance on the side. That goat stout in terms of foot and bone at the ground. Still bold in terms of center body and fairly fresh to the handle. Maybe a little bit softer to the touch than what would be ideal for you to just make that guy a notch more expressive. I think he gets that much better. Moving up to the young man's black goat up front for second. I think one that definitely offers some expressiveness and some shape to the touch. Definitely bold in terms of center body. Maybe doesn't carry as much power and as much shape of muscle down into his leg. One that's getting just a little bit frailer in terms of foot and bone work at the ground. not quite as attractive in terms of the build of his hip. Then to round off the class with the young man's kind of spotted wether, I think one that's definitely got some with the skeleton, got some with the chest, but a goat that's just kind of plainer and softer to the touch. And you want to see this goat just shapened up a little bit more, maybe just a little bit more expressive in terms of top shape to move up.
Results from class number 2. First, Tilden Gorzalka. Second, Joey Russell. And third, Benjamin Brown. Entering the ring will be class number 3 crossbreds. Jacob Brown, Talis Gorzalka, Tilden Gorzalka. Goats in this class range from 95 to 100 pounds. Next class will be class 4 of crossbreds, Talis Gorzalka.
I don't got enough money to compare to that.
Nice trio of goats out here, but the one that kind of just comes to us in the more complete package and definitely has the power advantage over the other two is the young man's wether in the middle. Even though we'd like to change some things in terms of build, in terms of the construction of that goat's shoulder, the levelness of hip and the attractiveness of hind leg set, I still think that goat is fairly wide constructed. I still think he's expressive and shapely over his rack and loin. I do think that goat has more dimension of muscle down to his leg than the one coming in too. Now the young man's goat in second, I think one that might be just a notch more attractive in the set to his hip and hind leg, maybe comes just a little bit more square from hooks to pins, is maybe just a notch nicer in the build of his shoulder, but that goat is just a little bit softer to the touch. One that I would like to see freshened up right there. One that I would like to see maybe just set back in a little bit in terms of breastplate. And that goat does kind of fall out in terms of stoutness of feature at the ground, but mainly just a little bit softer to the touch. Young man's goat that's going to round off in third. I think one that's still got some natural width, a skeleton, but a goat that just gets outpowered today. One that just doesn't have near as much product, isn't quite as shapely and fresh up top as some of the others in the class, but I think one that still is good from a fundamental standpoint, definitely has plenty of dimension in center body as well.
Results from class number 3. First, Talis Gorzolka. Second, Tilden Gorzolka. And third, Jacob Brown. Entering the ring will be class number 4, crossbreds. Talis Gorzolka, and he has a goat weighing 111 pounds. We will then choose our champion crossbred goat. So we will need Autumn Postine from class 1, Tilden Gorzolka from class 2, Talis Gorzolka from class 3. Reserves from class 2 and 3, please be ready. That'll be Joey Russell and Tilden Gorzolka.
Quit pretending you're better than me.
The young man brings us a pretty nice single entry. I think that's a goat that offers some flexibility. I think one that's attractive in the build and set to his hip and hind leg, and one that's definitely bold in terms of center body, and definitely doesn't lack in terms of overall power, in terms of rack and loin. That goat's still got plenty of width. Maybe I would like to see that goat just a little bit more neater and more tucked up in terms of his chest floor, maybe just a notch more square there out of his hip, but that one's still really good from a width and a power standpoint. Really nice single entry.
Results from class 4. First, Talis Gorzolka.
There it goes, there.
We will now choose our champion crossbred. From class 1, we have Autumn Postine. Class 2, Tilden Gorzolka. Class 3, Talis Gorzolka. And class 4, Talis Gorzolka. Reserve from class 2, please be ready, Joey Russell. And reserve from class 3, please be ready, Tilden Gorzolka. Following the selection of our champion crossbred, we will pick a champion overall goat. So we need champion boar Wyatt Gorzolka and Gavin Gorzolka with his reserve. Sheridan County bred and fed, please be thinking about it. Head to the holding area. Here's who I have on my list. That does not mean that if you have a goat that is not on my list, you can't show. So if you have a goat that you know is Sheridan County bred and fed and would like to show, please bring it down. We have Henry Steinhorst, Jacob Brown, Ben Brown, Jack Steinhurst, Madison Dupas, Gavin Gorzolka, Wyatt Gorzolka, Tilden Gorzolka, Talis Gorzolka, Claire Justice, Juniper Koltiska, Finley Koltiska, Autumn Postine, Joey Russell, and Catherine Swinier.
Didn't get another one.
Well, in the crossbred division, maybe we don't have some extreme livestock in terms of foot and bone, but I think the fundamentals are there. The width of skeleton, shapeliness of product is there with some of these. Just to kind of go back and recap, young ladies, Blackweather out of the first class. I think one that's still bold in terms of center body, one that's still fairly shapely up high, one that just kind of gets outpowered in general out here, just not even directly in terms of weight, but more so in terms of the amount of power he offers in relation to his skeletal size. He just kind of falls out in that regard. Young man's painted up weather out of that second class. I think one that when he gets in parked and set up just right, I think that goat's really attractive in terms of look and build. I think that one is still pretty wide in terms of skeleton. Definitely offers a bold turn to his rib cage and good in terms of shape over his rack and loin. I think that goat's still fairly sound and comfortable in motion as well. Like some things about that goat. The goat that comes out of the third class, one that definitely had kind of the power and the leanness advantage in that class, one that's definitely got some stoutness of feature, but a goat that's maybe just a little bit more round and piecier in terms of his build out here, one that we'd like to make just a little bit more attractive up through that front third as well. And then that heavyweight goat that comes out of the last class is a single entry, I think one that's just kind of complete, one that's there in terms of skeletal width, still good in terms of center body. I think one that's still pretty powerful when you get up high and fairly fresh to the touch. But there's one goat out here that just offers a little bit extra in terms of look, maybe just a little bit more attractive in terms of build to hip and hind leg. Young man's painted up goat out of that second class of the Champion division.
Your champion crossbred goes to Tilden Gorzolka. We need Joey Russell's second place from class number 2.
We get that second place back out here, and I think one that fits very well in terms of type and kind with the young lady's single entry out of the first class. One that I appreciate from a width and a power standpoint. Just doesn't have quite the extras in terms of build and foot and bone and freshness to the touch like some others. I think the one that kind of does it the most for me next in terms of balance, in terms of look, while still having some width and some shapeliness, would be that weather out of the last class.
Your reserve champion crossbred goes to Talis Gorzolka. We will now pick an overall champion market goat. So we need the champion boar Wyatt Gorzolka and the champion crossbred Tilden Gorzolka. Reserve Champion Boar, Gavin Gorzalka, and Reserve Crossbred Talis Gorzalka, please be ready.
It's very nice on the I think that was nice. Should just be the banners because the buckles aren't here. They know they're getting one here, yeah.
Currently in the ring is the selection of your champion market goat. We have the champion boar, Wyatt Gorzalka, the reserve champion boar, Gavin Gorzalka, the champion crossbred, Tilden Gorzalka, and the reserve champion crossbred, Talis Gorzalka. Immediately following this class, we will do the Sheridan County bred and fed. On my list, I have Henry Steinhorst, Jacob Brown, Ben Brown, Jack Steinhurst, Madison Dupas, Gavin Gorzalka, Wyatt Gorzalka, Tilden Gorzalka, Talis Gorzalka, Claire Justice, Juniper Koltiska, Finley Koltiska, Otto Postine, Joey Russell, and Catherine Swinier. If you are not on the list and have a goat that was bred and fed in Sheridan County, you can join. Following the bred and fed, we will do a Pee-wee showman. So if you are under the age or not a 4-H member and you want to show a goat, please be thinking about it and finding a goat.
Back out here, and I think there's 4 really, really nice goats out here. We kind of talked on that crossbred recently that goat still offers a lot of quality. I think there's some attractive pieces about that goat's front third. I think one that's still tremendously flexible in motion and still really good from a product and a carcass standpoint. I think that goat's still pretty fresh to the touch and nice from that standpoint. Then we evaluate that boar doe up front. I think that's one that we've already talked is just incredible in terms of the next level quality that thing offers. I think she's not only going to be competitive today, but I think if that one were to go on to a state or a national show, she'd absolutely be competitive there. That one's just a little bit better in terms of next level quality. That one is elite in terms of carcass merits. I think incredibly fresh and good to the touch, all while doing it in a very, very sound package and one that's very attractive in motion as well. She'll be your champion market goat.
Your 2022 Sheridan County champion market goat goes to Wyatt Gorzalka.
Then we evaluate that doe that was reserved out of that division. We talked that one is actually probably the most powerful goat that we've seen all day. That one is just really, really impressive in terms of rack shape and loin. The groove that she runs down her back is really unique, especially for a goat. One that maybe just didn't put her pieces together quite to the uniqueness and to the extreme that the champion did, but it's pretty dang hard to split that pair up. She'll be reserved.
Your reserve champion goes to Gavin Gorzolka.
I'm so tired of writing for Dolphin. It's like gonna be my new last name. I don't know. They get money from charity. Is breakfast envelope back there? You're right, this is key.
Entering the ring is our Sheridan County bred and fed goats. These are goats that are owned by individuals that live in Sheridan County. They were bred here and then fed here. On my list, I have Henry Steinhurst, Jacob Brown, Ben Brown, Jack Steinhurst, Madison Dupas, Gavin Gorzolka, Wyatt Gorzolka, Tilden Gorzolka, Talis Gorzolka, Claire Justice, Juniper Koltiska, Finley Koltiska, Autumn Postine, Joey Russell, and Catherine Swinier. Breeders represented today are going to be M&K Livestock, Browns, Cashley Cates, Gorzolka Show Goats, Tilden Gorzolka, Talis Gorzolka, Finley and Juniper Koltiska, the champion bred and fed will receive $100 donated by Sheridan Seed.
Amber, we have a Sheridan Seed, thank you. There's blank ones, but their address is in the envelope.
That's what you just write Sheridan Seed. Just write Sheridan Seed there and you get the address. There's no reserve.
Following this class, we will need all of our Pee Wee showmen. So if you are under the age or not in 4-H and would like to show a goat, ask one of the individuals in the ring or around the ring if you can borrow their goat and show. Contestants, please make sure that you are getting your pictures in front of the banner before you take your goats or go put them away or change or any of those things. You need to get pictures in front of the backdrop for sale night. Please make sure you're getting that done. Consignment forms are in the sale office that is to the north of the show ring. You also need to make sure you have those filled out. If you know what animals you're selling, now would be a great time to get those filled out and done so we are not chasing you down.
Making sure you wake up.
it's pretty cool to have a lot of high quality goats that come from breeders in the area. It's nice that exhibitors are able to stay this close to home, acquire livestock for county fair, and still be able to represent this level of quality. I think there's a few pretty nice ones out here in terms of some more unique breeding pieces, ones that bring just a little bit more genuine skill of wit, maybe have just a little bit more stoutness of foot and bone at the ground, and all are acceptable in terms of muscle. I think it's pretty close between a few out here. Maybe there's one that's just a little bit more unique in terms of type and kind, and maybe this one could have been maxed out just a little bit more from a feed perspective. Maybe make this guy just a little bit more muscled up. But I think the foundation is absolutely there with this goat. I'll take another look and then select your champion bred and fed.
Your champion, Sheridan County bred and fed, goes to Tilden Gorzalka, bred by Tilden Gorzalka. All right, now we will have the Pee Wee Showman. Entering the ring is our Pee Wee Showman. These individuals are not quite old enough to show, but I bet they do lots of work at home and maybe tell brothers and sisters what they're doing wrong from time to time. So this is the future of our goat show. Please give all of these individuals a big round of applause.
What's your name? Lindsay. What's your goat's name?
Zoe.
Zoe. How'd you come up with Zoe?
I did my sexual.
There you go. That's all right. Is this your first time showing goats?
Yes.
Yeah. How old are you?
8.
8. Are you planning on showing goats next year?
Yeah.
Awesome. You gonna do market or breeding?
Probably market.
Yep. There you go. Awesome. I like it. You having fun out here though? Good deal. That's what I like to hear. Good job. What's your name?
Maya.
Maya. Nice to meet you. What's your goat's name? Fiona. Is that it? There we go. How old are you?
5.
5. Have you shown goats before?
Yes.
Yeah. Looks like it. You're doing pretty awesome out here. Do you have any older siblings out here? Awesome. Awesome. You've got a couple more years to show goats, but you getting ready for it? Helping them train their goats at home?
Yeah.
Awesome. That's what I like to hear. You're doing good. What's your name?
Mason.
Mason. Nice to meet you. What's your goat's name?
Apollo! Wrong damn
Oh, there we go.
shit!
Nice. How old are you, buddy? 8. So you gonna show goats next year? You gonna do market or breeding?
Market.
Oh, we're gonna do both. Awesome. You guys raise any goats at home?
A lot.
A lot. Cool. That's what I like to hear. You having fun though? Yeah, good job. All right, you guys are doing awesome. Let's give them a big round of applause for them.
All right, congratulations to all of our Pee Wee showmen. Couple of announcements. If you have a goat and you have, well, none of you have taken pictures yet, so line up to take pictures. We do have to have a picture before sale night, and we need it this afternoon. So please come get pictures in front of the banner. We will announce the Supreme Goat either during pictures or after the conclusion of the sheep show. The sheep show is scheduled to start promptly at 2 o'clock. If you have a sheep and are planning on showing, we will start promptly at 2 o'clock. I believe we will be starting with we will start with showmanship, then market, and then breeding sheep.
Welcome everyone to the Sheridan Media County Fair live streaming channel. I'm Liz Kincaid, and joining me today is Sheridan County 4-H Beef Superintendent Stuart Kincaid. Stuart, thanks for joining us today.
You bet.
So tell us a little bit about the beef project. Is it breeding, market? Just give us kind of an overview of what the beef project is.
The beef project is both market and breeding. There'll be some breeding, some fat steers there, some breeding heifers, cow-calf pairs, and there'll even be a bum calf show for the little kids.
Well, that's awesome. So what kind of expectations do you have for this project?
The expectations of the kids is they start out with a calf, try to get to market weight for the steer show. Then the breeding projects, obviously they start with the heifer, go through, try and get her bred, show her as a bred heifer. Possibility if the kid has time and age right, they come back with a cow-calf pair. And then of course we have the bum calf show for the little kids, the peewees and things like that want to show some bum calves.
Which everybody loves the bum calf show because who doesn't?
That's the highlight of the fair.
It is, it is. So you talked a little bit about the beef or the breeding project. Tell us about the heifer futurity because that's kind of a unique part of our fair and part of the beef project.
It's nothing new to Sheridan County. It's just something that I've taken and kind of moved on with a little farther. And the heifer futurity project starts out as a heifer, a yearling bred heifer. She must be bred. She's ultrasounded up there. Then as part of it, the kids have to do an interview with a panel of judges and turn in a record book that is judged on a rule book type criteria. Of course, there's an award for the yearling phase of it. And then it also carries on to a cow-calf phase, which they bring that yearling heifer back the next year with the calf at side. And she is ultrasounded again and has to be bred to continue on in the project or in the futurity part. And again, there's an interview process again with the record book part of it and with the rubric that's used, and then them scores are added together and the best score between the 2 years wins.
So this 2-year project, it really is a commitment for the kids to do this 2-year project. They have to be halter broke and be prepared to come to fair. What's the grand prize for all this?
The grand prize is somebody from the county has donated a heifer calf, which is given to the winner of this project. Last year it was ourselves. Prior years it's the Koltiska families donated. The Enders families donated. Just some that I know off of. And the kids get them projects. And actually this year, the winner last year is actually planning on bringing that heifer that she won back to fair to start over again in the futurity again. So that's awesome.
So the cool thing about this project, and I guess for those that haven't figured it out, we're married. But the cool thing about this project is it's really a chance for these kids to get to build their herd to a certain extent.
Absolutely.
And it's not just show cattle. This is really truly commercial registered type cattle. And a lot of our local breeders around here, not just registered, but your commercial herds have in the past been gracious to donate. And I know that we have some people who are interested this year, and I'm hoping that if anybody's watching this and would like to donate, please get a hold of Stuart or myself, or contact Emily at the office. We would love to help you out, and we'd love to have anybody donate, because it really is truly a unique piece of this.
It is great, and it's probably one of the best parts, my personal opinion, one of the best parts of the fair as far as the end goal that the kids get out of it.
Right. So the fat steers, everybody likes to come see the fat steers because they're fun and they're big. And is there a weight limit that they have to reach to get to fair?
Per se, yes. I mean, to sell, they have to have a minimum of 1,100 pounds. If they don't make the 1,100 pounds, we have a separate class for them type of steers that will be called feeder steers. And then we'll start our class breaks from 1,100 pounds and up to actually be considered a market beef for the steer show.
Well, and I think so people will understand as well, that's really so you get the best quality of meat. You need to have those steers
Correct.
in shape, fat, the marbling, and so much. So, which is good, because obviously we want to promote a quality product. In whatever the species is. So, great.
Yes.
Well, if somebody wants to get involved, say somebody wants to volunteer, or there's some kids out there who want to get involved, how can they do that?
You know, they can contact our educator, Miss Emily Swinier, or any one of the FFA advisors in the county are more than willing to pass on information to whatever needs to be done to get a hold of anybody to get them involved in the projects, or just to volunteer or help in any way they can.
Well, and I think, you know, the beef project really truly is a year-long project. Some of the other ones, your market swine, your sheep, your goats, they're really more of a short term, where this is really a long term. So it's commitment. And
It is. This takes a lot of time for kids. I mean, it starts in the fall and goes till the next summer. So,
well, great. Well, Stuart, thank you for coming in today. We really appreciate it. And stay tuned with us on the Sheridan Media County Fair live streaming channel. Welcome, everyone, to the Sheridan Media County Fair live streaming channel. I'm Liz Kincaid, and joining me today is